Good afternoon, everybody. So today we are going to talk something very brief about ancient sacred city of Anuradhapura. You all might have heard something, at least in brief, about the city of Anuradhapura, which is the oldest capital in Sri Lanka, situated in the north central province of Sri Lanka. So when we talk about the history of Anuradhapura, first thing that we should bring into your attention is Anuradhapura recognized as the oldest capital of Sri Lanka, history of which runs more than 13 centuries. As a capital of Sri Lanka, the Anuradhapura has been ruled by 113 kings, including 4 queens. So that is the legacy of Anuradhapura. But as today we are going to talk specifically about the sacred city of Anuradhapura, there are 2 things that we need to identify at the very outset. When we talk about the history of Anuradhapura, the political city of Anuradhapura is one and the sacred city of Anuradhapura is something else. So we need to understand the difference between these two. When we talk about the foundation or how the Anuradhapura city came into existence, the history goes back to the 6th century BCE. In order to the great chronicle of Sri Lanka, known as Mahawela, Anuradhapura was chosen as a city by a minister came with the Vijaya, whose name was Anuradha. So there is one story, as Minister Anuradha selected this city as his resident, this city is known by the name of Anuradhapura. Then there is another story, young brother to King Vijaya also selected this city or this area for his stay. That is another reason of knowing this city as Anuradhapura. Anyway, when we talk about or when we pay our attention on the official establishment of Anuradhapura, history goes back to the 4th century BCE. There was a king called Pandukabaya, and in order to the great chronicles of the Sri Lanka, he is the person who selected Anuradhapura as his official capital. In order to one story, this particular city was established on the auspicious occasion called Anura. So that is why this city is known as Anuradhapura. Anyway, when we talk about the structure, infrastructure and the layout of the Anuradhapura city, King Pandukabaya is the person who designed the layout of the Anuradhapura in 4th century BCE. So he became the first king of the Anuradhapura, and when we come to the discussion of the sacred city of Anuradhapura, actually sacred city of Anuradhapura started in the 3rd century BCE, just after the advent of Buddhism to Sri Lanka. But the base was set before that. There was a king called Muttasiva, who was the father of King Devanampiyatissa, who ruled the country when Buddhism arrived to Sri Lanka. He created a garden called the Mahawela. So even today, if you visit Anuradhapura, you will see the ancient city or the sacred city of Anuradhapura based in this Mahawela or the garden called Mahawela, which is actually situated south to the city. And after arrival of the Venerable Mahamahinda, King Devanampiyatissa decided to offer this place to Venerable Mahamahinda. There is a reason behind that. King, quite a few occasions, invited Venerable Mahamahinda to visit the city, but they rejected that invitation because city is not a good place for monks to stay. It is very clumsy, there is no calmness in the city, it is very difficult to concentrate on their noble livelihood. Because of these reasons, Venerable Mahamahinda rejected the king's invitation. So, king invited Venerable Mahamahinda and his companions to stay in the garden called the Mahamega or the Mahameuna. So, king decided that, okay, I will offer you the royal garden Mahameuna. So, this is how Mahamegavana or the Mahameuna became a foundation for the sacred city of Anuradhapura. Again, if you would recollect or if you would pay our attention how Anuradhapura became so sacred, the history runs to the time of the Buddha. There, according to the Sri Lankan history, Buddha visited thrice to Sri Lanka. In his third visit, according to the Great Chronicle, Buddha visited Anuradhapura also, and not only he visited, he forecasted that in future, after this much of years, there will be a pagoda like this on this place, and the Bodhi tree will be planted on this place. Likewise, he forecasted something will be happen in future. So, in that case, in order to that story, this piece of land has been sanctified by the touch of the Buddha. So, that is another reason how Anuradhapura became so sacred. When we talk about the establishment of the sacred city known as Anuradhapura, said by Venerable Mahamahinda regarding the designing, regarding the layout and everything, he marked where are the places that I should select for the plantation of Bodhi tree, what is the suitable place for construction of stupa, what is the suitable place for construction of chapter house, what is the suitable place for construction of refectory. All these plans, this entire layout was set by Venerable Mahamahinda. Then, when we talk about the sacred city of Anuradhapura, there are three very crucial monuments in the sacred city of Anuradhapura. First one is the Thuparama, which is, as I mentioned earlier, is the first Chaitya constructed in Sri Lanka. According to the Great Chronicle, the Thuparama or the first Chaitya in Sri Lanka constructed under the guidance and the supervision of Venerable Mahamahinda, and they enshrined the collarbone relic of the Buddha inside this Thuparama or inside this pagoda. So, according to the history, actually this pagoda erected or constructed in a form of heap of grain shape, just like heap of grain in a size of bull elephant. So, that is how they erected this Thupa. Thuparama Chaitya plays a very crucial role related to the sacred city of Anuradhapura. And there is another very important Buddhist relic, symbol of worldwide Buddhists, none other than sacred Bodhi. Sacred Bodhi or the Bodhi sapling was taken to Sri Lanka from India by the Bhikkhuni Sanghamitra. Actually, this incident took place in order to the request made by Queen Anula and King Devanam Piyatissa. The establishment of sacred Bodhi in Anuradhapura is recognized as one of the most important events in the history of Buddhism in Sri Lanka. The entire Sri Lankan culture, the entire Sri Lankan civilization built around it. Buddha attained into enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. So, Buddha could avert all the calamities, all the challenges that he confronted under the Bodhi tree. So, that strength is still there. So, when we pay respect to the Bodhi tree, actually we are not paying respect to the tree. Instead of that, what we are doing is actually we think Bodhi represents the Buddha himself. We are making all these offerings thinking and imagining the Buddha in front of the Bodhi tree. So that is the crucialness of the Bodhi sapling. The King Dutugamunu is recognized as the role model of Sri Lankan political order. His biggest contribution for the development of sacred city of Anuradhapura is Ruwanveli Mahasaya, which is known as the Great Pagoda. When we talk about the relic enshrined in the Mahachetya, according to the Chronicle of Mahachetya, the most number or the highest amount of relics are enshrined in the Mahachetya. Not only that, the Mahachetya or the Ruwanveli Saya is recognized by Buddhists as the most powerful place of the universe. If you like to visit, or if you are intent to visit to Sri Lanka, you must visit these places, because the vibration that you can feel, the energy that you can feel by visiting these places is really amazing.